All right, hello English 301 students for winter 2021. This is a video to introduce you to the semester. Quick note, I'm going to have these bars across the bottom. These are just to keep track of what I'm talking about, so if you want to click around and refine something, you can do that. Also, a YouTube tip, if you hit shift and period, up to 4 times, you will increase the speed of this video. If you hit shift comma, you decrease the speed. So that's a fun thing to do. Okay, this is English 301. The purpose of this class is you've taken English 150, and the assumption is you're more confident, you're more kind of oriented to what's going on in college writing, what's it like to write in college, what does it mean to be academic, things like that. Now we're putting it into practice. So you're going to be doing research, and we're going to be concentrating a lot on how to tailor your message toward a specific audience and get that audience to care about the message and to respond to it and be persuaded by it. So there you go. That's what we're doing. This is primarily an online class. So we're online first, but then on Monday or Wednesday or Friday, I meet with a third of you. So it's kind of like I'm teaching 3 classes, but I'm only teaching 1 class. Yeah, the way it works is you'll meet with me for an hour, which is where we work on stuff. I orient you on what's going on in the class. I answer questions, and then we do these 2 in-class activities that I'll talk about in just a minute. And then the other Wednesday and Friday, you're not obligated to be there, but you do have stuff to do online. So every week you'll have assignments to do, and then we'll meet in class and go over what those are and all that kind of stuff. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. I mainly communicate through inbox. This is the last email I'm ever going to send you this semester, most likely. So make sure you're checking inbox. There is an app called Teacher. The icon looks like this, and it's a great app. And if I send you a message, it'll pop up, right? You can get notifications and everything. So highly recommend you download that. The book we are reading, I gotta get it. This is the book we will be reading this semester. I get it to focus. It's called Made to Stick by Chip and Dan Heath. I really enjoy this book. Last semester I had a student read it, and then she assigned it to her own parents for homework. Her parents were opening a zoo, I think, and so she said, you guys have to read this. I think it's great. I think I learn a lot from it every single time I read it. And so I'm excited for you guys to read it. That's the first thing we're going to do, so you need to get it quick. If you don't have it right now, go to the bookstore and get it. Used copies are relatively pretty cheap. So make sure you have that as soon as possible so we can start it. The other readings that we have, they'll be all online on Zoom. So this is the only book you need to get. Okay, attendance. So attendance is weird right now because of COVID. Don't come if you're sick. Be extra cautious. If you feel like you've been exposed to COVID, stay in your apartment and all that kind of stuff, right? So if you're not in class at the beginning of class, the first thing I do is I send out a Zoom link so you can listen in on class while the rest of us do class. The emphasis is on the people that are there, but if you're in Zoom, we'll try to get you to participate as much as you can. But if you're not there, there's 2 things. 1, you're not going to have as good of an experience. And 2, there's 2 activities we do in class. Well, 1 activity we do in class called Vote with Your Body. And if your body is not in class, you can't really do it with us the same way. So you'll miss out on that. If you don't come to class, there's another activity we do called quote integration practice, and you can only get the points for that by being in class and doing it in class. So you'll miss out on those points if you're not there. So I think it's important for you to be there. I had students who weren't coming to class last semester, and none of them did very well in my class just because they weren't oriented to what was going on and all that kind of stuff. So being there is important. Please come to class. It's usually a good time. Okay, so I'm going to give you an overview of the semester now. There's 2 major units that we do. The first is based around this book, Made to Stick. So what we're going to do is start thinking really hard about what it means to tailor your message to a specific audience and how to make sure you know what your message is. So there's kind of 6 parts to that. Is there 6 parts? Yeah, I think so. You're gonna make a message. I'm gonna introduce it to you today in class, or tomorrow in class, or whenever I see you. the first class, I'll introduce you to what this first scenario is. So you're going to do that and then write a little post-mortem essay. You're going to examine what went right, what went wrong. Then, as we work our way through this book, you're going to start to understand principles about how to shape a message for a specific audience. And then what you're going to have to do is choose a topic and then present a message to the class that's supposed to stick with them and persuade them to do something specific in real life. So there's two parts of that. You'll do a video attempt and you'll do an in-class presentation of that. And then at the very end of that, you're going to write a final reflection essay over the whole unit of what you learned and all that kind of stuff. I'm big on reflection. You're going to do a lot of that throughout the semester. So that's the first unit. All has to do with made to stick and the 6 made to stick principles. Then after that, what we will do is do the OOI, which stands for Object of Interest Exploratory Research Essay. So this is a big assignment, and it's split up into 4 parts, but it's really only one essay, and it's kind of confusing. I have another video where I explain all the parts of it and what it is, but we kind of piece by piece work our way through an essay and then combine it all together, and then that's the first attempt of the essay, and then after that we revise it and make it better and do more research and stuff like that. So if that sounds confusing, it kind of is, but it'll make sense as we move forward. The main thing that you need to think about with that right now is instead of being a research essay where I say, here's your topic and you have to debate this topic, and you start from this kind of like top-down kind of a thing where you're like trying to find evidence in a specific way. I like to do this paper the exact opposite. What you do is you start from something that's pretty neutral. An object or a food in your life that is meaningful or that matters. So you start with this thing where there's kind of no argument about it, right? And then what you do is write stories about it, do research into this object, figure things out, and you just use it to actually explore and find things in the world that matter about this. And then from there, you create a research paper where we end up talking about bigger ideas starting from this kind of mundane starting point. I think it's a much better, much more fun way to do a research paper, and so it's going to be probably different than anything you've ever done, but it'll make sense when we get there. And again, we take it step by step. So maybe just right now, start thinking about like, what's an object or a food in my life that really, I feel something about that I'm going to want to look at for 7 weeks of this semester, or 8 or something like that. People have written about a board game, about a surfboard, about a sand collection, about mashed potatoes, about a food they ate on their mission, about a traditional family dish. There's all sorts of opportunities and ways to think about it. So just kind of think like, what would I write about? Okay, some minor assignments that we're going to do throughout this semester. You have reading logs, so we're going to do made to stick readings. There's 5, this is broken up into 5 pieces, and then after that there's another 5 essays that I'm going to have you read that are kind of like this OOI sort of a thing, an object of interest where there's kind of these multiple parts that all work together to create this research essay. So we'll read those throughout the semester. Those are coming up in the second half. The other thing that we're going to be doing starting pretty soon, are these email etiquette scenarios. So another thing I like to practice with my students is I create these kind of awkward scenarios, these made up fictional scenarios where you have to write an email to address a scenario that's like, awkward or terrible or something. You got to figure out how to do it. And then what I do is I read through your emails, I react to them, and I say, wow, don't ever do that, or this was amazing. And then you write a reaction to my reaction to the emails. That will make sense when we get there. Okay, the other 2 things are vote with your body. So we'll do this the second week of class, and it's just a good way to create debate. So what we do is there's a statement that goes up on the board, and then you stand inside the classroom where you agree or disagree with the statement, and then from there we have a discussion. It ends up being a lot of students' favorite part of the semester, so hopefully you like it as well. The second thing, the last thing that I guess I'll mention is the quote integration practice. We're going to do this the first week of class. So, I'll show you what that is. I'll explain it when we get there. But that happens every other week. So one week we do quote integration, the next week we do vote with your body, and then back and forth like that. So that's pretty much the whole semester. I mean, there's other smaller things like a response letter and some critiques of student examples and stuff like that. But aside from that, that's the entire semester. So hopefully that makes sense. What was the other thing? Oh yeah, asking questions. So as you can tell, my assignments are kind of esoteric. They're, maybe a little difficult to understand, and I fully understand that. But what I want to get across is that I don't want you to be afraid to come to me to look for clarification. If you're not getting something, come to me and I will take the time to help you out to explain it. In fact, I'm taking a class this semester. I turned in an assignment and I didn't know if I turned it in right or if I was going to get credit, and I was nervous about it. So I emailed the professor and I was like, wow, this is kind of awkward. This doesn't feel right. And I know my teacher's really busy. He's like, pretty important at this university and stuff like that. And so, I felt weird about it. So I know what it feels like, but it's never a big deal. It's way better to ask questions and get clarification to understand what's going on than it is to just sit. And the worst thing possible is to just not turn something in because you don't get what's going on. So please don't let that happen. Hopefully you can tell I'm friendly and, I want you to succeed. Yeah. Well, we will meet each other soon. Until then, good luck and welcome to the semester.